Introductory Provisions. 1.1 Introductory Provisions. Article 1. Canons of Positive Law. I by right, power, and authority of Article 92 of Pactum De Singularis Coelum, also known as the Covenant of One Heaven, these pronouncements of law known collectively as Canonum De Ius Positivum and also known as the Canons of Positive Law are hereby promulgated in the original form of Akkadian language, and 2. The Canonum De Ius Positivum represents the primary, one, and only true first canon of positive law. Excluding the Covenant of One Heaven, all other laws, claims, and agreements claiming standards of positive law shall be secondary and inferior to the Canonum De Ius Positivum ab initio, from the beginning, and 3. These canons of positive law may be taken in official original document form and spoken form to represent part of the 1 complete set of the 22 canons of law known collectively as Astrum Iuris Divini Canonum, also known as living body of divine canon law in the highest of all original law, and 4. When referring to these canons of positive law collectively, it may also be taken both in printed form and spoken word that we mean this complete and accurate set of laws as the highest of all original law, and v. In accordance with these canons of positive law, the Society of One Heaven, also known as the One Heaven Society of United Spirits, also known as the Holy See of United Spirits, also known as the Holy Society, reserves all rights to itself, and 6. As all rights are reserved, no translation, copy, citation, duplication, registration in part or whole implies any transfer or conveyance of these rights, and 7. When part or all of these laws is presented or spoken in any language other than the official Akkadian languages, it may be taken as a translation and not the primary language. Therefore, any secondary meaning implying deficiency, claimed abrogation of any right or any other defect of a word in a translated language shall be null and void ab initio, from the beginning, and 8. When referring to these canons of positive law collectively, it may also be taken that the primary and original form of these laws resides as a supernatural spiritual document registered in heaven, first in a physical document registered in the Great Register and Public Record of One Heaven, upon the earth second. Therefore, wherever an official and valid form of these laws is present in physical form, it shall be bound to its spiritual form, from which it derives its spiritual power and authenticity, and 9. Let no man, woman, spirit, or officer of a lesser society place themselves in grave dishonor of divine law, natural law, and the living law upon denying the validity of these canons of law. Having been warned, any act in defiance of these laws shall have no effect, and any spiritual invocation in opposition to the validity of these laws shall be immediately returned upon the maker. As it is written, so be it. Article 2, Positive Law. Canon 1417. No law is valid, or has any authority or force or effect unless it conforms to the body of canon laws preceding this canon, known as Astrum Iuris Divini Canonum, in accordance with Pactum De Singularis Coelum. Canon 1418. Positive law is the laws that are enacted by men and women through proper authority in accordance with these canons for the government of a society. As positive law ultimately refers to physical objects and living beings, all valid positive law may be said to be derived from natural law. Canon 1419. A positive law cannot abrogate, suspend, nor change a natural law, nor is it possible for a positive law or natural law to abrogate, suspend, or change a divine law. Canon 1420. All positive law established in accordance with these canons are by statutes of juridic persons within the limits of their established authority. No valid positive law issued in accordance with these canons may create or alter divine, natural, or original positive law. Canon 1421. A positive law is established and takes force when it is promulgated in accordance with these canons. Canon 1422. All positive law may be defined by four foundations including concepts, principles, operation and result, and 19 primary systems including ecclesiastical law, administrative law, life and ethics, food and drugs, knowledge, obligation and agreement, property and succession, money and trade, language, civilizations, entities, religion, sacred texts, treaties, rites and customs, sacred office, divine sacraments and time/places. Canon 1423. When anyone references, writes or speaks of positive law, it shall mean these canons and no other quality. Canon 1424. Equality is expressed as active presence of impartiality, uniformity, calmness, decency and reasonableness in the actions and performance of duty of all who claim to represent the law. Canon 1425. The word equality is derived from the Latin equitas, meaning uniformity, impartiality, fair dealing and calmness of mind. Canon 1426. Equality is the active demonstration of the golden rule by those who represent the law, that all are equal under the law and subject to the law. Canon 1427. When equality ceases, law ceases. Article 4, Fairness. Canon 1428. Fairness is expressed as the absence of bias, malice, vested interest, or predisposed opinions and the active presence of decency and reasonableness in the actions and performance of duty of all who claim to represent the law. Canon 1429. The word fairness originates from ancient Gaelic word fair, meaning the action of watching, guarding as well as a horizon or skyline. Canon 1430. The absence of fairness is the absence of the law. Canon 1431. One who is incapable of demonstrating fairness lacks the character and honor to be a judge. Article 5, Uniqueness. Canon 1432. Uniqueness is a fundamental feature of all objects and concepts of existence, whereby every object in dimension is unique by virtue of occupying unique space, and every concept is unique by virtue of unique observation and perception. Canon 1433. While the law may be the same, every matter before it is by definition unique. Therefore, every man and woman has the right to be heard. Canon 1434. Denial and consent are demonstrations of the exercising of free will. Denial is the refusal by free will to endorse or accept an action or ritual. Consent is the acceptance by free will of the endorsement or acceptance of an action or ritual. Article 6, Dependency. Canon 1435. Dependency is a fundamental requirement of existence, whereby the existence and sustainment of one object is dependent on the existence of others. All objects and concepts exist within a codependent universe. Canon 1436. In accordance with natural law, all members of the Homo sapiens species are dependent on sustainable coexistence to some degree. Therefore, while all members of the Homo sapiens species possess free will, the full demonstration of free will in the form of complete freedom is not possible within any type society without anarchy. Canon 1437. When applied to positive law, the law of dependency means no form may exist in reality independently from the body of law that defines it. Therefore, the foundational deed of any society does not exist as a truly independent law, even if it declares itself to be so, as the body of law which enables the form of a constitution, deed, or declaration to be constructed in the first instance must have prior existence. Canon 1438. By definition of the law of dependency, all societies that used the form of law known as Western law, also Roman law, also known as common law, as the form from which to create their constitutions and declarations of independence, remain dependent upon this higher form of law and dependence. Within this framework of law, regardless of any claimed or perceived independence. Article 7, Meaning. Canon 1439. Meaning is a fictional term used to define the quality of having intention or purpose. Hence the early definition of mean as having in mind a purpose. Canon 1440. All meaning is defined and subject to the seven systems and one state of being as defined by the canons of divine law preceding this canon. The seven systems are classification, symbols, semantics, elements and properties, language, axioms and mind. The one state of being is unique. Collective awareness. Canon 1441. All valid meanings of words shall be aggregated into the official Oghadai lexicon as a single source and reference. Canon 1442. Any meaning that is not defined and in accordance with the canons of law preceding this canon is automatically null and void, from the beginning of its use. Canon 1443. When anyone references, writes or speaks of true meaning, or meaning, it shall mean these canons and no other. Article 8, Gnosis. Canon 1444. Gnosis is a fictional term meaning confidence in or reliance on the validity of some quality or attribute of a form based on proof, reason, or logic, without the need of belief or faith. Knowledge therefore, in its truest sense means the quality of possessing and displaying gnosis. Canon 1445. To know thyself implies not only to learn but the ability to discern what is and what is not. Thus, gnosis in true knowledge has always been the enemy of deception in those who deliberately mislead. Canon 1446. As these canons of divine law and natural law are proven with proof, reason, and logic alone, the true rule of law rests upon only gnosis and true knowledge, not faith or belief. Canon 1447. Any definition that attempts to connect the opposite concepts of faith or belief to gnosis or knowledge is deliberately false and misleading. In accordance with these canons, any such definition is automatically rendered null and void. Canon 1448. Any definition that attempts to imply negative connotation or defective meaning to gnosis, in favor of belief and faith are deliberately false and misleading arguments. In accordance with these canons, any such definition is automatically rendered null and void. Canon 1449. When anyone references, writes or speaks of gnosis, true knowledge or knowledge in respect of law, it shall mean these canons and no other.